So, everybody, welcome to Let's Thrive and Shine Beyond Belief. And once again, I've got an amazing guest of Heather Black that I'm going to introduce to you in a moment. But Let's Thrive and Shine Beyond Belief it's really about giving other people hope, because so many of us that be interviewed through this process, they've gone through either burnout, limiting beliefs, or imposter syndrome. So many things that can hold us back from being able to thrive within our organisations or just thrive ourselves. So, anyway. Today, I'd like to introduce the lovely Heather Black, and she's going to be able to talk about her journey, and then who knows what direction we're going to go down into. So, first of all, Heather, thank you for joining me today, and it's lovely to have you here. One of the first few on the show. So, let's see what direction this takes. So, tell us about yourself, please, Heather.
Oh, thank you, Julie. Lovely to be here. It's very, very appropriate, the naming, actually, because I'm 45 this week, and my whole message on social media will be about resilience and about surviving and thriving. So actually, it feels a perfect kick-off to the week to be talking about this, to consolidate my thoughts around what I'm going to share with people. So I now run an organisation called Supermums that helps upskill women in digital skills and help them relaunch their careers. And I'm going to talk about how how that can give you more resilience, actually, and help you become more of a freelance consultant. And the reason for this, if I go back in my story, is that I was running a business that we had 40 team members, and it became very difficult to keep it going because we were largely reliant on government funding. The political party changed. It's when Conservative came in and Labour obviously left. And I found the business in quite a vulnerable position. And I tried for 2 years to keep it going. I had all that responsibility, but this was all around the same time of getting married and wanting to start a family. And I think, perhaps a lot of people will resonate if they're in a management position. You're kind of keeping everybody else happy and, trying to keep a business going, managing a team or department. There's so many things that you're juggling, but at the same time, you're kind of like, well, as a manager type role, you're on a really good salary. And I was really sort of struggling at this point to go, what am I going to do that allows me to have my children, but not lose a salary and still have a career? And I felt like I was back at school. I was like, gosh, where do I go next? What do I do? And the business that I'd been running at that time was a business and career coaching company. So we had 20 odd coaches and a support team of 20. We'd worked with 10,000 young professionals, 18 to 30-year-olds during that time of running that business. And, obviously I really enjoyed that, but because the funding that we'd been used to had dried up, it wasn't really a future for me running it. So what happened during that transition is, whilst I'd been running that company, we had used a client relationship management system called Salesforce. And it'd been quite instrumental in our growth because I'd implemented it and learned how to work with the product myself. And it helped me grow that business from 100K to 1.3 million in a year. It went from 4 staff to 40 staff. And I was only age 26 at this point. So I was on a fast growth curve. And we kind of went through this whole period of growth. And that was down to the client relationship management system really allowing me to manage our reporting, manage a team, manage our KPI, manage marketing, be compliant with security to help us win more funding. And so I've grown quite passionate about that, but knew nothing about really the job opportunities in that sector. But I thought, actually, I really want to help other nonprofits use it. So I did some research, and I think, anybody resonating with this position will go, how do we find out about other jobs? What do we do? And I just reached out and talked to people and just had to, dig deep to kind of go, right, what else am I going to do? I'm going to sit down, have coffees, do some research. And that's what I did. And it opened up my eyes to new opportunities that I never even knew about these job roles. It's not something we learn at college or university. It was like, okay, well, this is new to me. And so what I pivoted to become was what in essence is a management consultant, a Salesforce consultant. Using their product, I decided to pivot, and I would go into nonprofit organizations and help improve their management processes and systems. And it was really a therapeutic role in many senses, because you're like cleaning their house, you're cleaning up their processes, tidying it, but I could work completely remotely 3 days a week. I was earning more in this new job role than I'd done before. I had no staff. It was just me
Yeah.
and the client. And I was working with senior leaders. So, you're kind of really working at that level where, they can operate and they understand, you resonate with each other, you understand where you want to be. And after doing that for 4 years, that's where then my passion for Supermums came from. I was like, other women need to know about this career opportunity. Like, not enough people do. It's really well paid. If you've got management experience, it's very easy to pivot over and actually retain a similar level wage, if not higher. And that's where Supermums brought me to. So 7 years on, we've now supported 1,300 people through the program, to pivot and relaunch their careers. So telling and sharing the story is what I like to do every day now.
Yeah, and I'm not surprised either, because there are so many, not just women, but men out there as well, that they get sort of stuck in the roles that they're in and can't see beyond that. And if you can give someone another way, give them the hope that there is an opportunity to do it. And as you turned and said, rather than being that number that's working God knows how many hours, 5 days a week, or maybe in some cases 7 days a week, you can actually change that approach. So you're working less hours, less days, and being able to spend more time with your children and still either earning the same amount of money, if not more.
Nice.
So, I mean, what a
Yeah.
great place to be in. So,
To make that realistic for people, I was able to pivot to £400 day rate, and I'd work 3 days a week with my newborn daughter, and she wouldn't take anything but breast milk for the first year. So I was very thankful to have that position where I was earning then 60k basically a year, working 3 days a week. But I was able to then, have my child at home, breastfeed her every 4 hours or whatever. She was quite good at getting into a routine. But because I was on some calls with clients from home, but then a lot of the time was also building and doing a lot of stuff where I didn't need to be on a call, so I could be quite flexible. So it was absolutely possible, and that's why I'm really passionate about sharing it with other people now.
Yeah, fantastic. So on the basis that obviously you've gone through that journey yourself, is what tips would you give to somebody else to be able to help them right now? And I don't mind what those tips are, but some way that's actually going to benefit them and either take out some of the stress and burnout that can be caused, or maybe something that's limiting them or holding them back. What tips would you give them?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So I think the first thing is to research the job roles and feel comfortable that that this is something that you could do. And as part of that at Supermums, we have a free career plan download that you can download that tells you about the careers. We give you a little quiz so you can sort of think about the transferable skills, experience, industry experience, your attributes as well, and what would suit you. And it gives you a job that things would align with, what your attributes are. But also we have a team of our customer success team will give you a free career consultation. So talk to them about your background, your experience, and see if it's something that you can pivot into. And obviously Supermums is one angle you can go, one route you can go down from a career. Do this for other careers as well that might interest you. Do that research, because you only pivot if you can make an informed decision. And an informed decision is about feeling safe. It's about knowing and asking all those questions. So just reach out to people, book in a phone call, completely free, just find out more and learn. Once you've then, what else is going to make you feel safe into pivoting is also making sure you've got the right support around you. So when I launched Supermums, because my background was helping people into employment, I'd learned a lot about what worked and what didn't. You can obviously just take any training course and upskill in something, but then you've got to obviously navigate your way into the job market, get references, get work experience, and all of those things. It's very hard to just pivot into a new career from just doing a training course. So when I launched Supermums, I made sure that not only do we upskill people in the technical training, but also everybody has a one-to-one mentor. So you want to find a mentor who's experienced in the industry that you're going to go into and can verify your skills, because they can also act as a reference for you on LinkedIn, or if you go for a job interview, and they verified your skills. So at Supermums, it was really important to me that I provide everybody with a one-to-one mentor during the 6-month learning journey, who would meet with them every week for 1 to 2 hours, oversee what they're doing. So there's that vigor with it. Like, you want to make sure that they are supporting you and helping you and holding your hand on that journey. So you want to find yourself a mentor. The third element is have a peer group around you. So you're not doing it by yourself. It's very easy to get demotivated, to not have that accountability. So alongside the mentor can provide accountability, but also at Supermums, everybody's part of a peer cohort. So if you can join something where you're in a group of other people who are on a similar journey as you, whether it's, you choose to launch another business or choose to go down the route that Supermums offers, try and find something where you're part of a group of people on it, because that's one of the biggest feedbacks we get. People love the mentoring, they love the peer group, they've got a whole new bunch of friends who they can suddenly meet at industry events, and they got on this journey together. I'm a big advocate for career coaching, hence my background was career coaching and business coaching. I think it's a mainstream support mechanism that everybody should have in their life. It's very rarely that I've gone through life without a career coach or business coach working with me, to be honest, because I feel like I need somebody that keeps me accountable and keeps pushing me, particularly running my own business. And so we provide career coaching on our program, and I would highly recommend that you get a career coach or business coach, such as Keely, to support you, on this journey, because they can help, I say, hold your hand. And you want positive voices around you. There's going to be a lot of people around you who are skeptical or aren't informed. And yes, it's your job to inform them, but you need to have the information and know how to present it to them. So, it's very important to have people around you, like coaches, who can positively move you forward, ask you to think about things constructively, look objectively at situations, and I say, make that informed decision to sort of move forward. So we've got peer support, mentoring, career coaching, and I'd also say work with a recruitment agency. You hear a lot about not hearing back on CVs and interviews and things through applying directly. If you work with a recruitment agency, they're actively looking for somebody, and you've got somebody representing and selling you in as well, rather than sometimes people find it hard to sell themselves, particularly if they're sort of pivoting. So we actually have like a recruitment team at Supermums, but we also recommend other recruiters. Having a recruiter on your side can really help position you and also negotiate pay for you as well. So again, if you don't like doing that and you shy away from it, having somebody doing that for you is a godsend. There's some of the key ingredients we recommend to people, really, if you're starting out again or thinking about doing something else, is package all of that support around you to be successful.
I think one of the key things that you said there is about having a mentor. I think people really undervalue that, but also fear asking people as well. So it doesn't matter whether you're asking someone outside of an organisation that you're in or whether it's within the organisation. If they've gone through that journey of sort of, the career journey of going into an executive leadership role or something like that, people often fear asking individuals for their help, and quite often they're like, no, I'd love you to, because they want to see someone else be lifted up to help them to shine, to see them to thrive. And it's okay to ask someone, and what's the worst that's going to happen? They could say no. But all the whilst you've got someone like that that's actually helping you, and for different reasons. So you've got for personal growth, you've got for technical skills, you've got for connecting other people, all of those kind of things, is that each one mentor will have a different role and different responsibility. But as you turned around and said, they're also going to help lift you up, because quite often, as you say, you can have people around you that are the cynics or the skeptics, don't really understand what it is that you really do. I mean, Mum always used to say, she said, I still have no idea what you do. I was working with a company for like over 23 years. In the end, because I was traveling all over the place, I said, look, just say I'm a paid sniper. I said, that's all you need to know. Because when I explained what it was that I did, they was like, I have no idea what you're doing. So I just know you're happy, and that's all that counts. So that is really important, that, for having a mentor. It's, for all different types of business requirements. So, and it's okay. So, and trust me, the CEOs, the top businesses, the global leaders, they're all having business coaches, mentors, personal growth, all that, all of the time, because you still get the voices no matter how high you're up in the business. So
Resilience.
Indeed, absolutely. So the other thing, if you had one book that you would recommend to anybody, I don't mind if there's a second one, but if you'd recommend to them, why would you recommend it?
Oh, the book that is lasting with me, and it's a book that I read, it might be on my bookshelf here. Where is it? Or maybe I've got it upstairs. Possibly it might be upstairs now. I collect books. But there's this book that I read when I was just come out of uni. Actually, I was 22, and I read it because I saw this guy on stage. He was at a business conference that I went to in my early 20s, and he had a piano and he's playing the piano. So it's a very charismatic presentation. But his book is called The Art of Possibility, and his name is Ben Zander. And some of the things that resonate with me in that book is, aim for a B, not an A. And I think we can be our own worst critic and that perfectionist of, always feeling like we're never good enough and we're striving. And actually, I was always one of those that worked really hard at school. And I, for the exams, I'd just get there. I was predicted to see, was it DCB, and I got an ABC. And then say at university, they were like, "Oh, you'll get a 2-2," and I got a 2-1. I'm like, right, but I'd really push it over the line at the very end. But I sort of always strived to do as good as I could. But I think that really resonated with me, that I'll try my best, but actually, don't kill yourself by putting over and above and beyond. And I think for me, his leadership lessons just really helped me think about, who I was, forging my career at that stage. So I think he's definitely worth watching. He probably has YouTube videos as well, because I think, the way he presents is great. But that's definitely The Art of Possibility, is about having, being open to ideas, being open to making things happen. And, I'm a bit of a risk taker as an entrepreneurial person. I'm like, right, I'll just do this and make it, see what happens and take it out there. And I'm constantly pushing the boundaries. Other people aren't. And I think that book kind of helps people just think about being a little bit more open to, what is possible.
Yeah. And it's a great thing that you mentioned there as well, is that perfectionism, because one of the things that I always say, it's better to have imperfect perfection and you're taking action than having perfection and no action. And when you're stuck in that mindset of, I've just got to have it, that bit better, and it's better to have 80% and top up on the 20% as you go along, rather than keep on waiting for the 100%. Because do you know what? It's never going to happen. We are a work of art in the making, and we will be until the day we die. So accept the fact that we are enough. You are able to achieve anything you set your mind to. You've just got to have the belief to be able to do it. And importantly, is take action to actually achieve it. So
yeah, exactly.
So just as a piece of fun here, though, if you was going to have a playlist of music to help you when you're having one of those down days or something like that, and you want to lift your mood up, what songs would you put on there?
So my favourite track at the moment is Head Candy Tropical House. So I feel like I'm back in my 20s going clubbing. But I absolutely love, I used to love going out dancing. And I think, it kind of fills me with joy, dancing. And so having that soundtrack on in the morning, or whenever I need that boost, really just lifts me up, and I get up and have a bit of a dance. I think it's so important to have that movement, to have, that feeling of joy inside your body. And as you get older, it's harder to go out dancing, right? It doesn't happen as much. So it feels like you're retaining a bit of that youthful spirit. That's definitely my album of choice at the moment.
Well, I need to listen out to that one because I haven't heard that. I have to say, for a while, I wasn't playing music as much as I used to play, and I think some of it, my brother unfortunately passed away not last year, the year before, and what, music is so emotive, isn't it? And that track, you could suddenly, a song comes on out of nowhere, and it's just like it just sucker punches you, but in a positive way. It elevates those sort of positive memories and situations that it has in it. But I think sometimes I actually put the music on hold, because of that fear of the impact it was going to have. But then all of a sudden I was just, why am I doing this? Because it's actually a powerful thing, because every single time you're actually listening to it and you have that moment, you can process it. And when you process it, it's a healthier thing for you. So, but now I, every morning I'm just sticking my music back on rather than learning, because and I'm going to ask this a question of you. So do you find that sometimes you end up being in that learning mode because it's so easy to listen to another podcast of learning, or listen to another book about learning, or listen to someone that's on YouTube or something like that? Do you sometimes find that you get trapped into that where you're learning all the time but not actually spending any time just to rest your mind at all? Or how good are you at stopping that?
I tend to not do that a lot. I have to be in person for training sessions. So I've been part of a mastermind group for a year where actually we have like retreats and in-person get-togethers. So I'm a much better person, my learning style is to be there, present, listening, absorbing. I'm not very good at self-motivated learning, to just learn something. Unless there's a real need or command. And so I wrote and published a book in the summer, and on that there was an online learning thing, but I had a deadline. I had a very key priority to kind of like launch this book. So then I was motivated to do it. So I think I learn for a reason to learn. Like, what is it I need to learn to be better at X, Y, Z, and then when do I need to know it by? And preferably in-person learning is what I really enjoy the most. So I think it's really knowing your learning style and know why you're learning. I think my brain can't take, juggling kids and work right now. I just can't keep absorbing stuff because one, I'd have too many ideas, and two, never execute. So yes, I think it's a really good point. You have to be mindful about what you're focusing in on.
Yeah, definitely. And as you say, learning styles. I'm kinesthetic, so I'm a bit of everything. But as you turn around and say, one of the things that I've learned to do is, if there's something that I'm listening to, is make sure I listen to it maybe 2, 3, 4 times, because quite often someone will listen to a book and they go, oh, that's great, that's really fantastic, but then don't actually take it anywhere. Whereas if you listen to it several times, or you're proactively doing at the same time, then you're then practically learning and applying and absorbing. If I just listen to it at one time, that's it. It's just gone. It's off my radar and I've forgotten what it is. I've gone, oh, it's fantastic, but I've not done anything about it. Excuse my dog. She's having a bark in the background. So just trying to think of the other question I was going to have, and it's just gone completely off my radar. Oh yeah, it was about teams, because obviously with the organisation that you're doing, what to you is the really important part about having teams? And do you think that it should be internal, or should it be external, outsourced? And what's your thoughts around having teams? And how do you think that helps you as an individual to be able to take away some of the stresses?
Interesting. So obviously we started off talking about, I pivoted to be a management consultant, working freelance and having no team, which was actually a godsend when my kids were younger. But there was a pivot at a point, and I had to make a decision in that I was getting too much work for me. And I was like, well, what am I going to do? And obviously I could just turn it away, and I've carried on, working independently. Would have been fine doing that, to be fair. I think my entrepreneurial bug, though, kicked off after, having a few years off, and I was like, actually, it'd be nice to have a team again and to grow it. So I did grow a team around me with the Salesforce consultancy, and then Supermums training became part of, was a pilot that kicked off from that consultancy. I think with growing a team again, I found I had a lot of that responsibilities around, sort of managing teams, departments, and finding that, I wasn't necessarily always doing the job that, where am I best sat in this organization? And I think the biggest thing I always come back to is when I started my first business, I did the talent dynamics profiling tool, which is run by Roger Hamilton. And that really helped me understand where my zone of genius is and where I need to be sat in a team, and what I need to hire around me, and that everybody understands what their roles and responsibilities are in the team. Because collectively as a team, we need to be a complement of different strengths, and everybody's playing their part in that dynamic. And I think that's what's so important, is everybody sort of knows that, but recognizes other people's strengths in their zones of genius. And so for me, that really made me feel more comfortable of like, well, that's why I'm good at that. And I don't have to be good at that. That's not me. And that's okay, because again, we can beat ourselves up about not being good at everything.
Yeah.
We're going, actually, that's what I really need to hire for. And I really, enjoy with a team where everybody's singing to their strengths and everybody's doing their part, and then that's the harmony that you want, right, in it. So, at the moment I am running that team again because that's what you need to grow. And I think it's, you have to play the card that you want to play at different times in your journey, because I'm on a different mission at the moment with that. I didn't say at some point in the future I'll pivot back again to be an independent consultant. I think we have to decide what's right for us at different points. But that would be my recommendation is, work out where you sit. We have a team of internal and contractors, depending on what they're doing and what their roles are. So specialist marketing people rather than employed, because they've all got their different strengths in marketing. It's such a niche these days. You've got your Instagram, your YouTube and everything else. And you have to have more experts on those different things. Whereas you need to look at what roles are more important internally and how that sort of, sits with it all. So I think it just depends on, what you're needing and where those roles are best sourced from.
Yeah, definitely. I think one of the biggest things that I learned as soon as I came out of business, because when you're in a corporate world, you've got obviously everybody else is doing that for you. Then suddenly you come out and you say you're all things to all men, and you become sort of like marketing, sales, accounts, the innovator, all the creating, the project manager, yeah, and of course, until you've actually built up your business, there's at what point do you start outsourcing? But the biggest thing that I learned is, and I don't know if you read it, is the E-Myth.
Oh yes, I haven't read it, but yeah.
Oh, it's brilliant, absolutely brilliant, and something I recommend to anybody just starting out on a business, and more often than not, people that are in business as well. I'd recommend it. And one of the things, the most vital things that he says is write your organizational chart, even as an individual, even if there's one of you, write your organizational chart and also understand what your operations are, your processes and all those kind of things. So you can establish what is it I'm good at, where should I be focusing my time, and who can I either internally, have someone within the organization, I outsource it. But unless you know what it is, then how can you give it to somebody else to do? And it's so important to do that. And also, as a CEO, is that sometimes that's not really the best place for you. So although you own the company, it's sometimes having the courage to say, actually, I really need to give this to somebody else to take that role because that's not my best space. So you're there still being responsible, but not in the same way as a CEO and managing the operations. So and having that courage. So my question to you is that also there's that point of when you feel confident and space to take that leap of faith to actually take extra people on in the organisation. What would you advise to individuals? Because there's always that fear as well, isn't it, about when you take on people?
I think it's really, really important to get investment, and don't do it through bootstrapping, because I think if you look at all the most successful companies, the startups, it's all because they've secured investment.
Yeah.
And so you need to put a certain amount in yourself, and then you need to go for a second round of funding, because it's too hard to grow without an investment. And with the Salesforce consultancy, I secured 140K's worth of debt finance for that initially. But that helped us grow. I should have gone for another tranche, later on. I didn't, but I should have done to help us scale the next level. And I think is that relationship with money and debt. We feel like it's a sense of failure in essence rather than growth. It's kind of really weird. But if you look at when I've just done a review of our competitors recently, they've all had millions of pounds of investment. I'm like, okay, so now, with Supermums, we are looking to scale, we are looking to get investment. Because I'm like, well, actually, I'm never going to compete with them unless I do that too. And I think it's just, again, doing your research, looking at what other people are doing, going, okay, how have they done it? What's their model? I need to copy it. Somebody's done it before you. You just need to copy them and learn what's successful, and that's what you need to do. And I think there's very few businesses that have grown without any investment in them.
Yeah.
You have to take that risk, and you will hire wrong people. Again, it's inevitable. you know, rightly or wrongly, and you will lose money that way. You won't get the growth that you expected. You know, you have these grand visions. You need enough money to weather that too, as
Yeah.
part of it.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. So, for listeners out there, if those going to first reach out for investment, and I mean, because there's two things you've mentioned here, is that I think as women, we sometimes find it hard to invest in ourselves, and it's changing the mindset, because people see as cost or expense, it's going to cost this much, it's going to be that much, and it's expensive, rather than flipping it and saying it is an investment. It's investment in me, it's an investment in the business, and will help it grow. But equally, is getting investment, is having the courage of where you're going to get that from. Where would you advise people, first of all, to consider getting the support and investment that they need in their business?
I mean, there's different routes you can go down. I've been working with a guy called David Horn, who wrote a book called Funding Female Founders. And I know your podcast isn't just for women, but it's very interesting. You know, there's the number of women who are invested in is significantly lower than men, which, you know, is, I don't know, it just blows my mind a little bit. Like, it's, you know, but actually the statistics show that women are more successful in their businesses than men who've got investments. So it's really interesting correlation. And he's done a lot of research into it. But he outlines all the different options. So it'd be interesting for men, I think, to also read that book. But it details all the different funding options that are available to you, and which, you know, what might be suitable for you, what stage, and what you're doing.
Oh, that's fantastic advice. Yeah, I haven't actually heard his name before, so I'll go and look out for that myself. So, um, anyway, thank you ever so much, Heather. Before I go and before you go, is there anything else that you would suggest to the audience, listeners, as a consideration, whether it's for helping themselves thrive and shine, or helping their businesses to thrive and shine?
Absolutely. If any of you are interested in pivoting and you want to do something else, so whether you think you want to become a management consultant, or, you know, you want to engage more with Supermums and what we do and just find out more, you can visit our website at www.supermums.org, and that's tell you more about what we do and supporting people to get in the Salesforce world.
And also, you mentioned about book. So, what's the name of your book?
My book is called Become a Super Salesforce Consultant. So if you want to know what it's all about, this book tells you what it is. It's available on Amazon. We sold 500 copies so far globally, which is amazing. And it was came #1 in 8 categories and 4 countries on the day it launched. But yeah, that gives you a really good overview about what a career is about and what it includes. So a great starting point.
Excellent, fantastic. And have you got any free assets that you would like to share with the audience as well?
On our website, there's a page called What is a Salesforce Career? And you can download a free career plan from there. So you can enter your details, get the booklet, tell you more about what it involves and what it does. And you can also book in a free career consultation as well if it's something of interest to you.
Excellent, thank you. And I will be making sure that I'll have all the links for Heather's website and all the social media, so you can find out more about her and also about her company. So thank you, Heather. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for all your tips and guidance. And yeah, I look forward to sharing when you're actually going live. So anyway, you take care, Heather. Thank you.
Thank you.